November 4, 1911. A mob gathers outside Marie Curie's home in Paris. They're throwing rocks, screaming obscenities, demanding she leave France. Inside, Curie huddles with her two young daughters, terrified she is the most accomplished scientist in the world. She discovered radioactivity. She isolated two new elements. She won the Nobel Prize in physics, and in 5 days, she won her second Nobel Prize in chemistry. She's the only person ever to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different sciences, and a mob wants her dead. Her crime? Falling in love with a married man. The same society that celebrated her genius when her husband was alive now calls her a whore, because Marie Curie dared to be brilliant and human. In 1911, France could not forgive her for both. Before we continue, your like and subscription are essential. They tell YouTube that stories about women punished for being human matter. Thank you. Marie Sklodowska was born in Poland in 1867, brilliant in mathematics and physics from childhood. But Poland, under Russian occupation, severely limited women's education. She moved to Paris in 1891 to study at the Sorbonne, lived in a freezing attic, nearly starved, but graduated top of her class. In 1895, she married Pierre Curie, a French physicist. They were a partnership intellectual equals, working together on radiation research. In 1898, they discovered 2 new radioactive elements: polonium, named for Marie's homeland, and radium. Their work was revolutionary. In 1903, they shared the Nobel Prize in Physics with Henri Becquerel. Marie was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize. France celebrated her but carefully. She was acceptable as Pierre's wife and collaborator. A supporting role then. In 1906, Pierre was killed in a street accident. Crushed by a horse-drawn wagon, Marie was devastated, personally and professionally. But she continued their research alone. The Sorbonne offered her Pierre's position, making her the first female professor in the university's 650-year history. She threw herself into work. By 1911, she had isolated pure metallic radium, an extraordinary achievement. She was awarded a second Nobel Prize, this time in chemistry, for this work alone. Marie Curie was now unquestionably the most accomplished scientist in the world, and French society hated her for it. A widow working wasn't the problem. A widow excelling beyond her husband's achievements was uncomfortable, but what truly enraged them was her personal life. After years of grief and loneliness, Marie had fallen in love again. Paul Langevin was a brilliant physicist, Pierre's former student. He was married, trapped in an abusive marriage to a woman he'd married young. He and Marie began an affair, private, discreet, between 2 adults, and then Langevin's wife found their letters and sold them to the press. If you're finding value here, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us continue rescuing these stories. Thank you. The French newspapers exploded with scandal. Madame Curie, homewrecker, Polish temptress, destroys French family. Foreign woman, corrupts married man. The coverage was vicious, xenophobic, and nakedly misogynistic. Langevin, the actual married person having an affair, received gentle criticism. Marie Curie, the widow who fell in love, was destroyed. Papers published excerpts from her private love letters intimate vulnerable expressions of feeling. They mocked her passion, called her desperate, suggested she was using sexuality to advance her career, as if her 2 Nobel Prizes were somehow related to seducing men rather than brilliance. The attacks were transparently absurd, but effective. Conservative French society, already uncomfortable with a woman excelling in science, seized the scandal as proof that women in public life were morally dangerous. Editorials argued that Curie should be stripped of her positions, that women scientists neglected their children, that Polish immigrants couldn't be trusted. The mob that gathered outside her home wasn't random. It was organized by nationalist groups using Curie as a symbol of everything they hated. She was brilliant, threatening to men. She was foreign, xenophobic target. She was a woman with desires sexually uncontrollable in their imagination. She had to be destroyed. The Nobel Committee considered rescinding her second prize. They sent a letter suggesting she decline the award to avoid embarrassment. Marie Curie, who had literally discovered radioactivity and saved countless lives through her research, was being asked to reject recognition of her scientific achievements because of a love affair. She responded with dignity. The prize was given for discovery of radium and polonium. I believe there is no connection between my scientific work and the facts of private life. She went to Stockholm and accepted her second Nobel Prize, while French newspapers called her immoral. The stress nearly killed her. She developed severe depression and kidney problems. She considered suicide. Her daughters were harassed at school. Former colleagues distanced themselves. Einstein, one of the few major scientists who defended her publicly, wrote, "If the rabble continues to occupy itself with you, then simply don't read that hogwash, but rather leave it to the reptile for whom it has been fabricated." But the damage was done. For years, Marie Curie lived in semi-exile, her contributions minimized, her legacy questioned, not because her science was wrong, because she was a woman who refused to apologize for being human. History, of course, vindicated her. Her discoveries about radioactivity became foundational to nuclear physics and chemistry. Radium was used in early cancer treatments. Her techniques for isolating radioactive isotopes advanced multiple fields during World War I. She developed mobile X-ray units that saved thousands of soldiers' lives and drove them to the front lines herself. She trained her daughter Irene, who would also win a Nobel Prize in chemistry. By the time Curie died in 1934 from aplastic anemia caused by radiation exposure from her research, even France had to acknowledge her genius. But the scandal of 1911 left scars. For decades, biographies minimized it or presented Marie as a victim seduced by an unscrupulous man. The truth that she was an adult woman making her own choices and being punished for them through gendered double standards was too uncomfortable. Today, Marie Curie is remembered as one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. 2 Nobel Prizes. Discoverer of radioactivity, pioneer of nuclear physics. First woman professor at the Sorbonne, first person buried in the Pantheon on her own merits, not as someone's wife. But we should also remember 1911. We should remember that brilliance doesn't protect women from misogyny, that society will celebrate women's achievements right up until those women demonstrate autonomy, desire, or complexity. And that the same people who benefit from scientific discoveries will try to destroy the scientists if those scientists don't conform to narrow social expectations. Marie Curie survived the mob. Her work survived the scandal. But how many other brilliant women didn't survive? How many gave up rather than face what Curie endured? We'll never know, because they were erased, not by lack of talent, by refusal to tolerate their humanity. ***, if this story moved you, your like and subscription make a real difference. They help us continue telling truths about brilliance that survived despite everything. Thank you for being here. ***.